Hey you guys, it's Jet888. It is March 19th. It's a Friday, and I just wanted to share with you something. So last night I tried to upload a video. I think it's only around 21 minutes, 22 minutes. So I go to check to see what its status is, and I see this. So they're still processing the video, even though it's been over 13 hours. Now, I know that this is something they do not want out because this is very serious, I think, what I'm discussing. But I'm not slandering anybody. I'm only reading some documents that are open to the public. And this is what my description said. It says, this is just the first video in a series where I will show how the controllers of our world use our lives as their game board. The alpha and omega means the first and the end. So when that military man, that's the one at Operation Warp Speed, mentioned D-Day, the beginning of the end, he was referring to Alpha and Omega. The Super Bowl 55, that's LV, was just the satanic ritual kickoff of the planned genocide agenda. I guess they didn't like that. I'm sorry it takes me such a long time to show and unravel this, but it's twisted, complex, and layered. And if I go over here, there's my video. It says pending. So they obviously don't like what I had to say. And it's going to be tough to start from where I left off because I'm trying to do this in steps, one step at a time. So I know I'm being censored because there's my subscribers. No views here because they won't show the video. There's only 111 views there, 88 views there, 113 views there, and 91 there. And all these numbers are interesting. How I think also it started with the vertical light situation that I noticed on the hills. They don't want that out. What I'm going to try to do is I'm going to try to give you an overall quick sweep of what I'm seeing. Not getting into too many details, and after that I'll get into some more details. A lot of this started with the other day I did a live. My last video that was allowed to upload was I talked about football, but the word trip came up, and so it all kind of starts with this. I was noticing a lot of ads and governors I saw on football fields, and this is the one. I covered this guy, Austin Butner, about the daily pass. And I looked at that logo, the yellow logo. This was something I saw, football field, regarding urban development, and I saw that in an anagram, removable DN. And DN came up as Notre Dame. And remember the big fire that happened? I saw a news coverage about the daily pass and the reopening plans, and it was at 4:59 that they did this. This is the NBC Peacock. Notice the colors, and notice the color, the burgundy there. So 4:59, the time that they set this news thing is fifth son, loss of life, and I am the master. Now Austin here is also wearing a burgundy shirt. Notice the yellow school bus in the background, and he says to reopen schools, and that's the anagram, echoes, poltroons, those are cowards, echoes, poltroons. Here was another article about reopening schools with the daily pass and the push to reopen schools. There's the kids with their masks on, and it was February 22nd. That's 222. That's Hitler. Adolf Hitler is 222. This is in Newport Beach. Long Beach. And look at the now. Now could be NWO. And when I kept looking at the two reopened schools anagrams, I came up with Necropolis, shoot. And Necros and Polis is City of the Dead. Kind of reminds me a little bit of the O Necropol's host. And there's your Coca-Cola with a polar bear. Talk about poles. Talk about poles right there. Anyone see those around lately? Now in the first video I just did, the Alpha and Omega, that they are not releasing, I did try to mention to look for the familiar themes, symbols, and words that they show and share with us. So you've got the sun rays there, theme, you've got the sun rays here, theme. So I wanted to focus also on the colors because that's another code thing that they showed. So here's NBC, 30 Rockefeller Plaza, and when you look at all these colors, and then also this is, you can't really, I don't know if you can see it, but the blue and the yellow pencil, those would equal green. I also looked at the colors of the 365 organic, and when I looked at this, the marketing sage, the 3 plus 6 plus 5 equals 14, and that equals dead. This is by Whole Foods. And when you look at Whole Foods, it's food webs, holy food webs, showed full, of wool shed, shed of wool. So color schemes are very important. So when the Daily Pass showed the yellow bus, and I also see Coca-Cola has this yellow, looks like a bus. They do make note that it's a yellow delivery truck. This yellow bus is Angels Unified Daily Pass. The Coca-Cola here too, by the way, notice the lines, it looks like electrical connections. Remember when I looked at that Daily Pass before and we looked at this artwork in the background and noticed the violins, and remember how they were playing the violins at the Super Bowl halftime show? And that was a Jane Avril, it was by Toulouse-Lautrec. Remember that? And here's Jane. And this particular piece of artwork by Toulouse-Lautrec was owned by Abby Rockefeller. She started a foundation, I guess they called MAMA. She started that. There's a New York's Museum of Modern Art, which they referred to as MAMA. So this piece of work shows Henry Toulouse-Lautrec talking about how he's an illustrator, and he immersed himself in the colorful and theatrical life of Paris. Toulouse-Lautrec, and look at his last name, Raymond. It's Henry Marie Raymond Toulouse-Lautrec. Here he is. He looks like a clown. Now, one of my last videos I showed, this is just looks like Trump, a clown, and the E pluribus fulum it ends up being Fulham all, and the 236 is face mask. And notice the E pluribus fulum, rebellious, fum, that will come into play. The fum equals 236, which equals face mask. But what I showed last night in my video that they won't upload for some reason was this PDF file. It's Global Futures Report, Alternative Futures of Geopolitical Competition in a Post-COVID-19 World. And on this, it looks like a phoenix bird with the star, and it says adapt or die. And when you look at the anagram for that, adapt or die is radiated up. And that PDF came from this publicintelligence.net. And when you look at this image, and this is kind of what really caught my eye, when I open this page, that's the capital in the background, and look, public intelligence, and look how public is scratched out. I mean, eventually the white line through public does go away, but it starts out immediate with the line through the word public. And notice the barbed wire. So when I read this article, this PDF last night, I looked at some of the specific words, the words that they highlighted, they made that bold, which relies on all three. The anagram for that, which relies on all three, is healthier HL clowneries, which we saw above. And in gematria, the HL equals T, which we saw in TRIP, T-R-I-P. Remember the football field brought us to TRIP, which is T-R-I-P, rest in peace. So there's HL equals T, Kabbalah, Able, those are birds, the helicopters, the chopters they use. So clowneries is one of their words in here, which kind of brings us back to the Rockefeller. Live like a Rockefeller. La Clowness Assise by Henry Toulouse-Lautrec. They always show you everything for a reason. There's a reason that this painting is there. There's also a reason that that map is there in the background. There's a reason he looks like a clown and his name is associated with Raymond. There's also a reason why Coca-Cola is part of the whole energy thing. The Coca-Cola, there's the sun, the rays, that's what they're planning. There's some more black and white theme there. Satan, Nick there. When they show us the football themes, goalpost there's 14, that means dead. And the words goalpost, there's 996 when you add those up. One of the words in gematria is A-O, Re, Koshihad, and that's omega, alpha and omega. One way you can look at that, the anagram, Jackaroo. Jackaroo is a young man living as an apprentice on a sheep station, colonial life, a greenhorn. Colonial is cola lion, and Coca-Cola is cool caca. They love their stuff. Like, remember Winnie the Pooh? They're like children when you talk about poo talk, but cool shit, hot shit, those are the anagrams. So cola lion is important. And remember in this AO, that's alpha and omega. And the alphabet, it says omega is the last of a series, the end. So there's the Greek alphabet for omega. Notice the horseshoe thing, that's one of our football symbols, but look at the W also. So maybe that W, which I always thought was wire, maybe that's omega, the end. And look at that, how Coca-Cola joins big alcohol. And look at the picture they have there, like a skull. So they basically want to join something that's really responsible for a lot of deaths. This is also one of Coca-Cola's illustrations. It's a mosquito. Mosquitoes are probably responsible for most deaths in the whole world. Look at that off the back of people there. Notice Dutch there. Do you remember that Pepsi was one of the sponsors for the Super Bowl's halftime show? And I just noticed that the Grateful Dead, I covered this before, the Grateful Dead looks like the Pepsi symbol or logo. See that? We talk about great. It's a metal structure, are bars, made of iron bars. Just letting you know, remember, iron bars are like prison cells. The 11th edition.